the question was, could you put a delayed settlement in it? What you can do is, if you talk to all the legals, and the Pacific law know well about this, and they call it a sunset clause. So you can, as soon as you've got your MCU approval or DA approval, you can start marketing the property for sale. And I was talking recently to a DIMPNA student who's done that, and I've done this as well, where we've sold the block of land and we've created a contract of sale. Because you don't have a title, you can't really give them a title. So you've got to wait for the title to be released. In the contract, there's a clause, it's a sunset clause, which means that you have a period of time to complete and produce the title, and then they will settle on the property. Now, knowing that you need sometimes 9 months, you would say a minimum of 9 months and possibly more. At the end of that date, when the sunset clause date comes up, if the title's not produced, then either you or the purchaser can pull out of the contract. So it's basically saying there's an end date. We think it's going to be before the end date, and if it does happen before the end date, we want you to pay us within 2 weeks or whatever you choose. But if you get to the end date and it's not ready to have a title, then you can pull out of the contract. All right. Sometimes if you're doing a subdivision and there's an old house on the front, you might say, and we've done this also, we've sold a property, we've sold the front house with a sunset clause. So because we're doing, and we complete the subdivision, but while they were waiting for the subdivision to happen, they actually lived in the front house and paid rent on it at lower than what interest would cost them anyway, until the title came through, and then they bought the property.
Sunset clauses can actually be used in another way as well, because let's say you want to buy a property, or you're selling a property to somebody and they want to buy it, but they want to buy it subject to selling their own property or subject to something happening. What you can do is say, sure, I'll sign the contract with you, but I want a sunset clause. Because what that means is that you can continue to market your property, you can continue to look at offers and things like that. And if you get an offer on your property, which is an unconditional one, so they have to go, yep, it's an unconditional offer. What that happens then is the original guy that you signed the contract with then has, you can put it in what you like, but somewhere around the 36 hours, 72 hours is normally the longest that I've seen to make their offer unconditional. And then it normally reverts to a 14, 30-day settlement thereafter, it going into that next phase. Now that applies to every state except New South Wales, because remember, you don't have conditional contracts in New South Wales. And what that means is that anytime up to it being exchanged, the seller can do as he pleases anyway. So you need to understand that, and it's a good bargaining tool. That if you've got a buyer on a property that's a bit on the hook, but he's got to do this first or that first, or seek his grandmother's dog's approval or whatever. You can say, fine, but I'm going to continue to market it. I've got so you've locked him in, you got him secure, and you've got a sunset clause. If you get an equal or better offer that is is unconditional and you can settle immediately, then he has to put his money where his mouth is and either complete the contract or walk away.